entertainment and lifestyle. ChaKra TV. It never ends.
Hello and welcome to another Simple Talk segment right here on ChaKra TV. So don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the bell notification as well. So life is a circle, that's why we are called ChaKra TV, and we circle around many aspects of life. Now today on the show with me, I have the great saxophonist Kumar Molligoda. Welcome to the show, and it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Same with me.
How are you doing?
Yes. Pardon?
How are you doing these days?
Well, considering the situation in the country, I'm just managing just as much as the other.
Okay.
It's a ball.
To start things off, you have a long history in music. Take us back to the start. How did you get into music and when was it?
Yes, you see, when I was in school, I had been in love with music from the time I was very small. You see, our family, we had a piano, we had a gramophone, then we had a radio, battery operated radio. So all that was there. There was music in the house. And besides that, my father was interested in Western music. My mother was interested in Oriental music, and she was a good singer. And she had her own instrument, it was called the Sraj.
Okay.
Right? So that music was part of my life. So when I was in school, the rock and roll craze came on. Bill Haley and the Comets. They came on, and that was like a revolution in the country, because up to that time, music and bands were restricted to the very elderly people, and you could hardly see a professional musician perform anywhere. We couldn't get, we had to go to a dance or some other performance to see a musician playing a double bass. I've never seen a saxophone, you see. So then when the rock and roll craze came on, the film came, Rock Around the Clock. Everybody went to see that. That was followed by a lot of other films. Then the twist craze came on. So then everybody got interested in music. So I had the opportunity. Then I was playing harmonica. Even when I was in school, while riding the bicycle, I rode a bike to school. Coming to school, I had a mouth organ in my hand. I used to play the mouth organ while riding the bike. So in the class, I got caught to the teacher playing the mouth organ, and I got punished. So music was inseparable. You know? So then I thought I must start a band on my own. So I had my harmonica. Then I collected two other friends who were like relations, two brothers, and I met Denver Rodrigo.
Okay.
Denver Rodrigo is also a very senior musician. He was playing along with me in '58. He was a piano chordist. He had taken part in the music contest, piano contest, and won. So he is not active now, but he was a superb musician. Then I collected them, and we started rehearsing some music, instrumental music. And I was, of course, a jazz player. When the rock and roll craze came, I got into rock and roll also. So at that time, I couldn't play guitar. Then I started this band, and the very first booking I got was for the Mr. Ceylon contest, 1958.
1958.
Mr. Ceylon contest.
Okay.
We were the featured band.
Right. What was the name of the band?
Flamingos.
Okay.
And there was another senior band playing along, playing by on the same program, the Harold Senaratna combo, which at that time was called maybe K. Caballeros or something like that name, not as Harold Senaratna, four-piece band. So that day while playing side by side with Harold's band, I looked at Harold. Harold was playing a clarinet most of the time and a little bit of alto sax. So I admired them and thought, I say, I must also learn to play a wind instrument. And rock and roll music had a lot of saxophone music, like unlike rock music, rock and roll. The guitar was not featured so much, but most of the recordings side by side, guitar and rock and saxophone. So then I started this band. Then after that, we got other small offers to play for little school concerts, right? Like say Nugego, the St. Joseph Convent, and like that. We did all that. Then when I heard this rock and roll song of the black singers, that is Chuck Berry and Little Richard. Now, hardly anyone in this country sang any of those black singers' songs. They all sang the songs of the white singers. So, like what happened in America, the black singers were put to a side. And everything was white singers. You Presley, Ricky Nelson, all those people. So, I like these two guys. And I learned to sing their songs. Then when I learned to sing their song, I found I had no one to accompany me on the song. So I learned to play guitar. So I went to a friend who had a box, and at that time guitars were very rare. So a few guitars around our area. So most of the guitars were in the homes of burger people at that time, box guitars.
Box guitars.
So I had a lot of burger friends. I was mostly with the burger friends. So to go to his house and strum the guitar. So the person who really gave me my first break, the first lesson, I learned a few basic chords, was the late police officer, Rahul Silva. One day he came to my place, he was studying at Royal College at that time, came to my place and I had this box guitar. He sang Blue Moon and showed me the chords. That's a jazz song. So I learned the set of chords for that. And from there onwards, I started picking up on my own. I am entirely self-taught on guitar as well as saxophone. So then, I thought I must get on a stage as a singer. So, the only stage shows in Colombo at that time were staged by Malcolm Andrew. So, I went and asked Malcolm Andrew whether he'd give me a chance to sing. He said, come for an audition. So I went.
This is in the 60s.
59, 60, right? Beginning, 60, 59. So I went to the stadium where he had his business and other musicians used to come. Now, the musicians in his review were Cliff Fernandez, Nihal Fonseca, Derek Kramer, comedian, and a lot of females, Loretta Orleans, Mickey Hubert, girls. With the girls. So now, in the midst of now, there too, there was Perrin and Erin ChaKra, the two doctor brothers. They were together. And then they started a duo as the J Brothers. Like what the Rambo brothers had. They were the forerunners. And they recorded. They have their records under the cherry blossom tree. Right? They recorded at that time. And Cliff Fernandez recorded Butterfly in the Rain. Then Bill Forbes, he went to England and he recorded there. Then Desmond Kelly recorded his songs here while he was here. So I had to learn to play the guitar, I learned to play the box guitar. And when I went for the audition, he asked me what I was going to sing. I said, I will sing rock and roll. Everybody laughed. Because no one had been singing rock and roll.
It's a new thing for them.
At that time. And especially the songs of these two guys. You see, Chuck Berry and So he said, okay. And on the piano was that late Patrick Nelson. So I sang Good Golly Miss Molly. Then I forget the other one. Rip It Up or something like that. One song led to another song. Now I found that they were not auditioning me, they were listening to me.
They are listening to you.
So I also really enjoyed it. I knew I had got through the audition. Then after singing about 5 songs, Malcolm said, okay, are you free to sing next week? He was having a concert. I said yes, and I was so elated. And then I started singing for the concert. While I was singing for those concerts, then I started improving my guitar playing. And at that time, the guitarists we had were Ghazali Amit, superb guitarist, one of the best we ever had. His brother-in-law, Milroy Pasedi Silva, Percy Bartholomews, and a few others, just a few others. There was no rock and roll and pop music. That was all standard dance band and jazz music, guitar. When I started singing rock and roll, I had to play those solos that were in those songs. So I played all that. Then I heard Arthur Guitar Boogie Smith playing guitar boogie. I learned that. And I started playing all this. And the only exposure we had was, all these burger homes. Every Saturday or every weekend, there will be a birthday party. And we used to be invited for those birthday parties. So to go and sing and play our guitar. Then my name went around that there is a funny fellow, a good fellow called Molligoda. So my name was Molligoda. I was not an employee or a De Bruyne or whatever it is, completely different. There's a good fellow called Molligoda. That fellow is playing rock and roll music on the guitar. And it went on like that. So I used to get invitations for a lot of birthday parties.
So are you the first person to sing rock and roll in Sri Lanka?
Yes. It's on record.
Yeah.
It's on record, the very first person to sing rock and roll. Nobody else.
Nobody else.
Closely following me was Malcolm Nicol, who was playing bass and was the vocalist for Harold Senior. But he didn't sing the black song, black singer songs.
Yeah.
He sang all the Presleys and this and that, but even the popular songs.
What were the other bands? Were there any other bands back in the day when you started? Popular bands?
Yeah, the most popular band was Harold's band. Then there was a band called the Bank Notes. They're all bank employees. There was a guitarist in that band, a Sinhalese guy called Gamini Sinuratna. But they all played dance band music. Then the Morton Coal Combo. That's a very old band.
Now most of these names, I'm hearing it for the first time, Kumar.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually have not seen any photos. I'm just hearing
If
and
you
I'm
go
learning
to
a
the
lot.
Facebook, sometimes
Yeah.
you will find photographs of Morton Coal Combo.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that our viewers are also learning something very new because no one has ever done something like this.
Yes, because even on my posts on Facebook, a lot of people ask me for information about the music scene at that time, and many have asked me to write my memoirs or to write the story. Then they will know what the music scene in the country was like. Actually, when I came into the scene, there were very old senior musicians, and I was very anxious to learn about them. And one of them was Jerry Craig. His son is there, and the daughter Louise. They are here, they are also super musicians. The Craig Brothers Orchestra was a big orchestra. They had tenor saxophone, they had baritone saxophone. You see, and Jerry Craig was a super pianist, alto saxophonist and clarinetist, arranger. He was the top man in the country for Western music. So like that, then there was another Hawaiian band. The Maxwell brothers, all brothers, right? They played Hawaiian music. So when I went to technical college, actually my parents wanted me to become a lawyer. At that time it was advocate, not like attorney now. It was advocate and proctor, right? So I rebelled. I said, no, I don't want to go and become a lawyer. I said, the profession of the legal profession is just going to court and lying for a fee. No, I don't want to do that. So then they said, okay, choose something. I said, accountancy. I said, accountancy was boring. Then there was the exam, Chartered Institute of Secretaries. So I entered technical college. That was also a competitive exam, the entrance exam. I think I came third or something in that, and started my lectures there. There was the gentleman called Hector Singer, and he was a lecturer there in electrical engineering. Then I went and met him. I heard that he was a Hawaiian guitarist and all that. And I had heard his name as a person who had done recordings, Western songs and cowboy songs. Now, before the rock and roll craze and before these pop songs came, it was all cowboy songs.
The country music.
Country, it was not called country music.
That was country,
It was called cowboy music. So, Eddie Arnold. And yodeling was an important part of that. So, I used to learn the songs and I used to yodel. There was cattle call, famous song cattle call,
Yeah.
yodeling in that, which starts with the yodeling part. So there were bands, Tex Rita and the Ranch Boys, the Rainbow Ranch Boys, those were different bands in America. So then I had heard that Ekta Singh was a Hawaiian guitarist, done recording, and I met him personally. He took a liking to me. Then he said, Kumar, I have my band, the Hawaiians, Ekta Singh and the Hawaiians. Rukmani is our vocalist.
Rukmani Devi.
Yes. Would you like to join us? I said, yes, of course. Then I said, I can't play guitar that much. He said, don't worry, what can you play? Now, along with all this, I was a fan of Latin music from my very young days. You see? So I was crazy about that. So I had a pair of bongos at home. I had mouth organs and bongos for the start. Then I said, Mr. Sinha, I play my God, that's what I wanted. I have some instruments where we need Latin percussion. So they had a couple of concerts and I played, and there's a photograph. I don't have the photograph, but the paper cutting is there. It's on Facebook with Rukmani Devi and with myself playing bongos.
What's the name of the band?
Ekta Singh and the Hawaiians.
Hawaiians. So Rukmani Devi was a singer.
The singer, yes. She's there in the picture. It is there on Facebook. And one of the guitarists, in the end, he was the Air Marshal Sri Lanka Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel, commander of the Air Force. So we had a wonderful crowd of musicians there. And for a little while I was there. Then when I left training technical college, I sat for the exam and passed part 1. It was in 2 or 3 parts. Part 1, thereafter I didn't want to continue because I got more interested in music. Right? Then I found my guitar playing improving. Then one day when I was at home, a car drove up to my place and a burger gentleman, very burger gentleman, and he said, I am Leonard Franke, you are Kumar Molligoda. I said, yes. I said, I have heard that you are a guitarist. I was just in joining a band. So I jumped at the idea to say, of course. Hey, what is it for? He said, so we want a young guitarist. We had Percy Bartholomew, who was our guitarist, and he is leaving in a month. He was to migrate to Australia. So we didn't want to take any other dance band guitarist. We want this rock and roll and twist music in the band. So would you like to come? Would you like to come for a tryout? I said, all right. So I went and I run through with the rest of all old guys. I was the only one in my 20s. All the others were over 40, 50s, 60s. But veteran musicians. I knew I could learn a lot from them. I joined the band. And the band had the contract to play for all the weddings at the Golfes Hotel. So I started as a musician of the Golfes Hotel as the first big band. And I played for the first 31st night in a hotel at the Golfes Hotel.
When was that?
61.
61.
Yeah.
Previously, mine.
Then 62 also at the Golfes Hotel.
So from a guitarist to this love affair for the saxophone, how did that happen?
Right. Now as I told you, the rock and roll music, the two most important instruments were guitar and saxophone. So then Bill Haley and the Comets, this is the most famous rock and roll band, had an Italian saxophonist called Rudy Pompili. Right? He came out with some wonderful solos. If you listen to some of the old Bill Haley record, you will hear him in the spotlight as well as his guitarist. All the solos, impossible guitar solos. Right? So I was sort of, now I could already play guitar and I was playing mouth organ, but I want to play wind instrument. So then our band, we had a saxophonist, an elderly guy, and he had some trouble and he was leaving. Then the band leader called me and said, Kumar, you like to play saxophone, no? Right, I'll give you a chance. You can buy a saxophone. How long will it take you to learn? I said, I don't know, maybe a month. He was, 1 month? I said, yes. I said, other fellows take years, 1 year to. I said, well, I may be able to do it. Okay, then do it. So I ran to harmonics. And the saxophone they had for sale was a huge baritone saxophone, old baritone saxophone. And the case was the size of a coffin, like a coffin. I put it on the huge. And a very old model saxophone was very big. just for 350 rupees, a big amount at that time.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I took it home. I found that I couldn't manipulate those keys. My fingers were too short. The notes were far apart. I had to weld parts to. So then, when I took it to the hotel one day to show it to the band leader, he put his hand on his forehead and said, Kumar, are you in this world? Are you out of this world? You want to play that in this band? Nobody plays baritone sax. Take it away. So I decided, I went and returned it. Then I said, Renat, there is a saxophone lying at music shop, Hyderabad's music center. I'd like to buy that, I don't have the money. So he said, right, I'll help you. Bye, let's go and have a look. We went and had a look at the sax. To see, the man who was managing the shop was Srilanka Kuruppu, the famous man, right? Gigantic handloom donor. He was a pianocornist and harmonica player. So when I was there, I took a harmonica from the showroom and I started playing. He was flabbergasted. I said, you can play so well? I said, yes. Then, so what do I said, I want to buy this sax. Right. I will help you. I will give it to you at cost price. Right? I will give it at cost price. So I said, how much? 750 rupees. At 1,500. Half the price, he said. He was so taken up by me. Then I said, yeah, thank you very much. Now I said, money you want to pay the advance. Luckily for me, at that time, I was also playing guitar for single film music recordings. I had joined the single film orchestra. So from that I had got to know Moideen Beg, Dharma Sawalpola, all those old singers, plus the music directors, Muthuswamy, and then Mohammed Sali, all those people. So then, and at that time there was a single film industry was picking up.
Yeah.
So we had recordings every night, 3 songs, but the money was only 30 rupees per song at that time. So anyway, 3 songs per night is 90 rupees. So I collected 250 rupees and gave it as an advance. Then I took the money, then I told Renat Franke, the band leader, Manhattans, don't give me the money, end of the month, collect the money and go and do it to my money. And I brought the sax home. I brought the sax home. Now I had no way of learning this. And then one day I played for a party, house party, with some other musicians. And in our group was another late musician called Benny Victor. He had also bought a saxophone. He was a clarinet player. And then I just asked him, Benny, how are you with your saxophone? No, I learned. Then I told him, look, Benny, I have bought this sax. I play the scale. Then we had taken a break and we were out on the pavement, having a short eat and drinking something out of the pavement. Then he demonstrated without a saxophone. He said, Kumar, it's played like this with his finger. And the scale, C scale starts here, you open this finger. I remember that. Came home next day, tried it out, I got the scale. First scale, thereafter on my own, I took the guitar, played the scales, wrote the notes down, searched for that on the saxophone. I did 4 scales in one day.
Wow.
Right? So the next day when I went for the wedding, I took my saxophone along. And he asked me, the band leader, what did you do? I said, I brought the tenor sax along. No, you can't play it. You're not. I said, no, let me play. And you have the God's Hotel. The hotel manager is a Sudha, Mr. Cyril Best. And they're very strict, discipline. So I said, no, let me play. And he said, okay, play very softly. Right, I said, no. Now there was another sax player also. And we had the trumpet and violin and all that. Quite a big band. So I took the saxophone and we played Rambo, Careless Love. Right? That was made famous by Nat King Cole. It was very popular at that time. So I told him to play this and I said I will take a solo in the middle. Now I could play jazz solos on my guitar. So I had only to transpose it onto the saxophone. They didn't think of it like that. Then I started flying off on my tenor saxophone. Everybody turned around and they in the band looking at me. When I stopped, he said, "Who taught you?" I said, "No one taught me, but I played on the guitar. I just transferred it on the saxophone, got the notes and played." Then from that day onwards, I was allowed to bring my saxophone. So that is how I got onto the saxophone. But my aim was, right now I have got the tenor sax. I want to have the whole family. Baritone sax, soprano sax, alto sax, C melody. There were 12 saxophones in the sax family. And because I want to do that, in 67, I put an application to the police band, to join the police band. I was chosen. There was only one hitch. Now, the person who was chosen had to be sent to England for a 3-year training course. And there was a stipulation that the person had to be below 30. I was 30 plus 1 month.
Bad time.
So I lost that, so somebody else got that. And I forgot about that. Then I made it a point to collect the money and buy altos.
Now you can play all 12.
I have all, I have 15 saxes. But I had 4 sopranos, 4 altos, 4 tenors, and the baritone, 15 in all. Now I have downsized it, sold some of them. So, but the major instruments are still there. The baritone, which is about 1.5 million, a very costly instrument. And even the instruments I use are hand-picked instruments. Because if you want, I was playing abroad, there you can't go into a hotel and play in a band using Chinese instruments, Chinese saxophone. There are other musicians, foreign musicians. They come to see you and they see you using a Chinese instrument. However good you are, they look down on you. A professional musician playing a cheap instrument. So I bought the best that was available. The Horners from Germany, and those brands were not very popular with most people. I made it popular, so because now for the last 58 years, I'm playing the same German saxophone. And if you go to YouTube, the comments for my music on that, there are professional saxophonists who have remarked about the tone of that particular saxophone. And one person is a lady called Helen Kalki. She's a German living in Canada, saxophone tutor and professional musician. She's 5'10" in height. She plays baritone sax and bass sax, the biggest saxes, and tutor. And her web, that page, she has a site, saxophones, is 153 pages. Can you believe 153 pages only on saxophones? That has every brand of saxophone in the world. Where it was manufactured, who manufactured, everything on that. But she didn't have a history of this sax that I played, the Japan honor. Then I gave her this, and it is there on record. I got this information from a guy in Sri Lanka called Kumar Molligoda. And it is there about the honor saxophone. So I managed to buy all that.
So let me ask you now, how is the now we see a lot of young people coming into music industry.
Yes.
They play guitar, the piano, drums, whatever. How is are they enthusiastic about the saxophone? I have not seen anybody taking a...
Now that's a sad situation. Around 2000, I stopped playing with bands, I played with Raja Dalalina Priyanti abroad, and I played his repertoire abroad, and with so many bands. And then I decided, I was playing with Peter Prince Combo. Then I decided that I was not going to play in a band, stand behind a female vocalist and be a backing artist for that girl. You see, never be that. I'm going to be Kumar Molligoda, right? The saxophonist. So because of that, then we started playing, Ahinda's group. We used to get together. Various musicians used to do books like that. Then I also got the idea of playing solo sax that was given to me by late Earl Arnold. He told me, Kumar, why don't you do this? And he said, there's a gadget you can buy for you to play solo sax, And he said it cost 1 million at that time.
Yeah.
Fairlight something. I said I can't pay that much money. Later, then this technology of backing tracks, MIDI files, came on with the introduction of Facebook and internet in the country. Then I got some MIDI files prepared and I started playing solo sax. Then when I started playing solo sax, there's a famous guy whom I call a Music Mudalali. He was a keyboard player, I won't mention name. He had done a lot of recordings, issued a lot of cassettes, CDs, double CDs, DVDs, whatever it is, everything, whole lot of things. But he's mainly an Oriental musician. But he had a lot of other music, Baila, this and the other, very famous. So he was more a businessman. So then he had got the idea, after seeing me, of getting some people to play solo saxophone and putting them in various hotels. Then he hires his sound, takes a commission. And he had got hold of some musicians, saxophonists from the police band. Now I knew what the police band was like. The police band musicians can play Western music. It's just what they have been taught, what they've been trained to play. Military music, marches. Even if they play Danno Budunge, that is according to military style arrangement. No feeling in their playing. So then now these people could read and play. Then he had to put them. One day, one policeman who was in the service came and told me, sir, they call me sir, still most of them, Mama Captain Karanda, but will you tell me how? So I told him how, this is how you get the tracks, do it. Then another man, a young guy who had left the police, he also came and asked me. Unfortunately, he died last year, January. A very good saxophonist, cat guy. So anyway, then I found that there were these Sinhala speaking people playing saxophone, playing Western music, and in the middle playing Hindi music and Sinhala music and calling it jazz. So from there it caught on to other people. People in Kandy, people in the south, Panadura, Kalatura, all the tourist hotels, all these guys who played flute, bamboo flute. You know, if you play bamboo flute, you can switch to saxophone. Same system. They knew this string system. They also bought saxophone, Chinese saxophone, 30,000, 25,000. And then they also got the same thing. Now, the situation was that there were so many saxophonists, Oriental saxophonists. While in the Western field, my brother was playing sax for experiments for 14 years. Then when he left, they never took another saxophonist. Peter Prince combo folded up, so there was no sax. Then the sax guy died, then most of them died, most of the senior musicians died. One or two newcomers, that is Dr. Gananath and this Roshan Silva, they are newcomers. They play Western music, but that is only a handful.
Not many
four or five people. Hundreds of Oriental Sinhala speaking musicians playing the five-star hotels, playing for tourists, playing insipid music. See, our tourism business, they are talking so much about it. This is doing a lot of negative work, you know. So when I used to play, tourists used to come and talk to me, and I will tell you one instance. A French lady was listening to me playing baritone sax. And when I stopped, she came and told me this. She said, this is my first tour to Sri Lanka. When I decided to come here, I had the idea that this was a little jungle island, right? And I came here, got off at the airport, I wanted different. But now I found a man playing a baritone sax, playing all the American standards. And you are from the jungle island, how do you do this? And I said, look, I was educated in the English medium. We only had Western music in the radio. So that is in our blood, we have our own music. But I play this music. So that is nothing new. And she said, you know, if I want to listen to a baritone sax player in Paris, I had to go to a very expensive club. Here I hear you free. You see? So then there were others also, same story. To come and ask me, how do you learn? How do you play our music? You are playing our music. Do you collect the music? How do you know? I said, we had our radio and the radio used to play. All this I learned from.
So who were your inspiration? Like, who were your favorite saxophone players in the Western music?
So now that is a different question. As I said, to be honest, the first person, of course, I used to listen to the big bands at that time. That is during my school days. But SLBC, that was Radio Ceylon. They had the Benny Goodman Orchestra. Then they had Louis Armstrong. Right? Then various other bands. Then Glenn Miller, In the Mood. They are famous songs. All those big orchestras, smaller groups, like people, they would have heard this. Lawrence Welk, right? Guy Lombardo. Those, I used to listen to these people, even the very, very small group, Caterina Valente. Now people know Caterina, that time no one knew. Then Silvio Francesco, then Savio Cougar, Latin American, then Edmundo Ross, right? Then there were a little band called Juan Serrano and the Caribbean Islanders, so like that. So then the Calypsos came in, right? So my first exposure to Western music was through Benny Goodman and all those big people, and Louis Armstrong. But there was no solo saxophonist coming out from that. But there were at that time the world famous people, Coleman Hawkins, Charlie Parker, but their music was not played by Radio Ceylon. That is the wrong thing they did. They played all those, because the DJs who went to Radio Ceylon, they played what they liked. They bought the record, they liked that. Then Eddie Calvert, Harry James, trumpet players. And they didn't want to go into the jazz trumpeters, like Dizzy Gillespie and all. Then saxophonists, I never heard Charlie Parker, never heard Coleman Hawkins. Later on I found, oh my God, Coleman Hawkins, Charlie Parker, gods. They're treated as gods. And then, but at that time, I had heard their music so well. What got into my ear was that saxophonist in Bill Haley's band, Rudy Pompili. Then after that came Sam Butera and the Witnesses. There was Sam the Man Taylor, saxophonist.
Not the Sri Lankan Sam the Man.
No. I don't want to make a comment.
Okay.
No, please.
So
right.
What are the other bands?
Sam the Man Taylor, Sam Butera. Then the Eddie saxophonist, and that fellow would rip up the place. Rip-roaring sound and hot solos. That was a different style, rock and roll style. Right? So now I like to play rock and roll, and I was singing rock and roll. Then I started playing like Rudy Pompili. So that was my first exposure. Later on, when I heard all the other sax players, then I thought, my God, that was basic stuff that I've been playing. I had learned to play, and my God, that is baby stuff. For the others, that is difficult. For me, I found it to be very easy. I heard Charlie Parker now to be... he is supposed to be the greatest ever and never equaled by
Who is the godfather of saxophone?
Charlie Parker.
Charlie Parker. Okay.
And that is undisputed. So he died young, and he's a black man. At that time, the time that there were even such big names as Duke Ellington, Count Basie, huge bands. They were like royalty in the music field. There was segregation. They were never allowed to go to the hotels that cater to the whites.
The black and white problem.
Yes. Parker died because he had pneumonia, and when he was taken by a lady to hospital, they refused to take him in. Then she went round all over, refused to take him in. By that time, too late, when they found a place, and he died. He died because of that, Then there were other musicians, Jimmy Blanton, bass player. He died because of tuberculosis. At that time, TB was rampant in America. Charlie Christian, guitarist, 21 years. So anyway, saxophone, after that I found, my God, there are so many, but then the Bossa Nova craze came on. When the Bossa Nova craze came on, there was Stan Getz, the saxophonist with him. All the recordings, Stan Getz. So he became a big man. So we had to play.
Quite a few inspirations.
We had to play that music. We were playing in the hotels and lobbies. We had to play the bossa nova.
No, I'm not talking about the songs.
Yeah.
Your favorite saxophone player in the world, Charlie Parker.
Yes, because he was an alto player. He played tenor sax for a few years, but actually, when you go to say favorite player,
Too many.
like this. I admire Charlie Parker, respect him, and treat him as the godfather saxophone. But actually, the style that I play, you hear me on YouTube, my style is not copied from anybody. Now that's the thing here. People who brought soprano saxophone wanted to play like Kenny G. Now I had soprano when I was playing, a lot of people became irritable. I told them, please, I am not Kenny G, neither am I a fan of Kenny G. I have this soprano sax, I play it in a different way, my own
That's
way.
your own way.
I won't play Kenny G during the time. So they walked off. So I don't play any Kenny G music. That is easy music, but highly repetitive. So then Charlie Parker was a person that, if you could play like Charlie Parker, my God, then you're it, right? You made it. But for me to listen to, and I would recommend anyone to listen to, is a guy called Arnott Cobb. Now he has died some time back. I have posted some of his songs, his numbers on Facebook, and lots of comments. You see, Arnott Cobb used to take an ordinary song and to rock that. That's a different style,
Yeah, different styles.
Different style. So I play that. I like that style. So if you get a good pianist. Now I have a problem here to get a good pianist. We don't have them. We had Surya Kumar. He died some time back. Now we have Harsha Makalanda. We have Kumar Silva. Then we had Dilip Kapadamudali. He didn't play. There is Ashen Bernard. And one or two Dilip Srilanka. But they are busy with their own things. So I can't get them when I want.
Now, are you still playing?
Yes.
Okay. Now you told me, I don't mind mentioning your name, right?
Yeah.
78. So you've been in the music industry for 6 decades. 60, how many years?
63.
63 years.
And so it's 62 continuous 31st New Year's Eve night.
Okay.
That's like a world record.
Of course, we need to check on that. Yes, maybe Sri Lanka.
There is a guy who died 1 month before his
Before that.
79th or something like that. He had played till about, American, till he was 90. And he just 2 months before his next birthday he died. He has the longest records. But below that, there is no record of how many musicians are there who have played more than 50 consecutive.
Yeah.
This is the problem. You can play by number. Now Sri Lanka, Harold was the most famous band, Peter, and even we have our band and so on. But no one, from the day they started up to now, whether they were playing in a hotel or wherever it is for New Year's Eve, and also every 5-star hotel that opened in Sri Lanka, I played for their first New Year's Eve night. Everyone. So that is a record I value.
Now, this 60, or let's say 6 decades of music history is not. No, it's very hard to finish in one conversation.
You can't do that.
Right now, because I know it's already maybe it's more than 30 minutes. So we need to cut it a little bit short because we're gonna continue. We're gonna continue with Kumar in future. We'll go into the second round or third round because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn because all this now from this conversation, Kumar, I learned a lot because some of these names and the bands I have never heard. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search on YouTube. And see what the music is like. So maybe you can do the same as
actually, even Sinhala pop music in this country. When it started, of course, Clarence is like a god in Sinhala pop music. But before Clarence came in, right, there were other musicians who started it. Now they always talk of the singers. They don't talk of the contribution the musicians made. Right? Now I was one of the pioneer people in the Sinhala pop music scene, playing accompaniment for those people.
We'll talk about the Sinhala Oriental music scene back in the day in our next episodes.
Okay.
So are you in the process of teaching anybody the saxophone?
I used to do it, but not everyone. Most of the people I taught were children of my friends.
Now, are there any good young saxophonists in Sri Lanka now? How is it?
That guy, that police guy, he died.
Oh.
You know, the thing is, now, even right now, because of this COVID problem, they don't come to my place. Otherwise, a lot of these people who play professionally, elderly people, saxophonists, they come to me to learn. I ask them, what do you want to learn? He said, master. අපිට ඕනේ මාස්ටර් ගාන විදිය ඉගෙන ගන්න. මාස්ටර් දන්න දේවල් අපිට කියලා දෙන්න ඕන. අපිට පුළුවන් සිංහල මෙලඩි ගන්න. අපිට වෙස්ටර්න් මියුසික් ගන්න බෑ මාස්ටර් ගාන විදියට. Improvise කරන්න බෑ. Then I told them, you will never learn improvising, right? Being a Sinhala speaking man. And without the background of Western music, I can't put that into you. It has to be born. You have to be born with it, right? Improvisation is a different thing altogether. You are creating a new melody, right? So I can tell you how it is done, but you won't play like me. And then they said, Master, Master get tone maker. No, that's the thing everybody wants. All the Western musicians, they wanted my tone. Then I told them, right, I tell you the secret. You all won't be able to do it, and I won't do it for you. I am a good technician. I learned to repair my own success. I couldn't go to anybody else. We don't have good technicians. So I learned to write. Then I learned various techniques by which I could turn the tone different. I mean, tune it to the way that I wanted. I want to be bright and loud and raspy. I whether I wanted mellow. I know what to do. What parts to add to it, what parts in the saxophone to be taken out. You know, I do modifications on my saxophone. So ඒක මම ඔයාලට කියන්නේ that's a trade secret. කියන්නේ ඒක. ඔන්න මම හදලා දෙන්නම් ඒ විදිහට. හැබැයි ඒකෙනොත් මම හදලා දුන්නාට බෑ. Because ඔයා කටින් පිමින්න ඕන ambush එක. Then lot of people, I was the first to introduce the metal mouthpiece to saxophones. And everybody went and bought metal mouthpieces, thinking that they could get the same tone. Then they came and told, හරියන්නේ මාස්ටර් මෙටල් ගෑව හරියන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකත් අමාරු වාට කියන්නේ. මොකද ඒ ටෝන් එකක් එන්නේ ඒකේ සීක්‍රට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒක ඔය ඇමරිකන් ලොකු සැක්සොෆෝනිස්ට්ලා දන්නේ ඒ ටෝන් එක නිකන් කටින් නෙමෙයි. Actually that comes from within you. You think like that and the tone comes. You see, like violinists, right? Even for a violin, to get the correct tone, he thinks like that, and he gets that tone. You see.
But you are available, to anybody who's interested in learning saxophone. You are available to teach.
You know, there's a problem there. Some guys come with terrible old saxophone. I can't be bothered with
But
them.
you can guide them, no?
Yes, and also there's another thing. It's not that I'm very money-minded, but since I'm doing this as a profession, I have to live. Right? So I've told him, look, you go to some of these oriental artists, singers, they charge 2 lakhs to come and sing at a concert, 2 or 3 old songs. Right? I am teaching you something, right? I have to charge something for that. So they expect me to charge 300, 400, 500. I said, no way. Right? So far, I have charged 1,500 rupees in less than 1 hour. So now I have stopped that. I won't because of the COVID problem. And even some of the hotels now that they are reopening, I was contacted, asked whether they like to play. I told them, yes, you just go to the market, go to the market and check on the prices of the vegetables and come back. Then I'll tell you how much I want. I won't play for the fee I played previously.
So that's a different topic for a different day. We're going to wrap things up. And we're going to continue with Kumar because it's a long history that we need to talk about. So as I said earlier, it's not enough. The time is not enough to talk about this history in one go. So we're going to continue this conversation in future as well. So do stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe to the channel ChaKra TV and hit the bell notification as well. In the meantime, thank you so much, Kumar, for coming by, and we'll meet up again soon for the next episode.
Yes, of course.
All right?
That's all.
All right, go well.